I have to admit, I've never seen Sony make such a huge misstep where everyone, including PlayStation fans, are going against them. But that's exactly what's happening right now with everything that's come out about Sony's next generation plan. It's just a weird thing. During the PS5 show, I was excited, I enjoyed what I saw, and it actually built up hype for the PS5 console a lot. But then reality struck, and I was left with a bunch of random news by Sony that made me feel a little misled and honestly annoyed. And as the chaos ensued and all the media types and fans attacked Sony for lying to everyone, Xbox's marketing team really didn't need to do anything in order for them to respond to the debacle. They could have sat back and enjoyed the crazy aftermath of the event, and to be honest, that would have been enough. But that's not what they did. Instead, Xbox's marketing team and the Xbox account on Twitter decided to drive the knife in a little deeper. And how could you blame them? Instead of the bad hype and media attacking them, the Xbox finally had a foothold into what makes them so appealing, which is honesty and transparency. It's something I've talked about Xbox having for a very long time. Every single step they've taken has been for the gamers. It's been upfront and it's not hiding anything from us. That's something that can't be said with Sony, who have really kept things from their fans and have brought up more questions than answers after their PS5 showcase. That can't be said for Xbox, who have been completely on message, and more importantly, they've been consistent with their message, because they respect the people that invest in their ecosystem and buy their console, or just play games on the Xbox ecosystem if you're on PC or no matter where you play. And that same message was reiterated by Xbox's marketing team and marketing lead Aaron Greenberg on Twitter. It's obvious which company isn't hiding behind their success, and it's obviously which company doesn't lie to its consumers. So let's get into these responses by Xbox, and let's also talk about what Sony has been dishonest about, because there's been a lot of other tidbits after the PS5 showcase that a lot of people didn't see coming. So let's get into it. But first, like always, if you like the video, hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. So the first thing I want to talk about has to be the lack of organization by PS5 with their pre-orders and how they just went out live. I have to say, this is one of the worst pre-order debuts I've ever seen. I mean, I couldn't even call it an announcement because there wasn't an announcement. Instead, there was a free-for-all. It was madness and honestly put a bad taste in every single gamer's mouth. Not only did Sony not announce the pre-orders on the show itself, but they continue to lie by saying the pre-orders will happen the next day after the show. Well, apparently that didn't go over well with retailers because they decided to put the PS5 systems out anyways, and basically made it nearly impossible for people to buy a new PS5. So not only did Sony give people basically an hour notice before the pre-orders went up, but they also just let gamers fumble around trying to find the best place to put their orders in. Talk about a misstep of epic proportions. Oh, and did I mention that Sony's spokesperson a few weeks ago said they will give people ample time before announcing the pre-orders? Another lie that just fell to the wayside for gamers. Now, I know a lot of people might find this annoying that I'm bringing this up, but it's something I just couldn't ignore. Because I'm one of the many, and I mean many people, that didn't get a pre-order in because I was doing other things thinking that I had at least 15 hours before it went live. But instead, I came late to the party and ended up not getting a system. Oh, and if you're one of the many people that want the all-digital edition like myself, well, apparently that system's stock is going to be extremely limited. Like, no one is going to get one. The rumor is that Sony really didn't stock the all-digital version of the console that much, so most people will end up getting the $500 version of the console, which to me isn't a good price considering the Xbox Series X is the same price and far, far more powerful. Which brings me to what Xbox had to say about this whole pre-order debacle, because like a decent company to their fans, Xbox decided to announce the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X and give fans plenty of time to pre-order the systems that they want. Here's what Aaron Greenberg had to say about how they want to launch the pre-orders. This was said after the PS5 event, might I add, and after all the negative news surrounding Sony came out. Here's what he had to say. We wanted to make sure all our fans globally can properly plan for online pre-orders opening locally. Exact times and retailers are here. As with any highly anticipated product, launch supplies can go fast. This is what I like to call a smart troll, because it's extremely professional, but it really does feed into the terrible pre-order launch of the PS5. Not only does he explain that they want to make sure all fans globally can properly plan for online pre-orders, But he even talks about exact times and where you can buy the systems. So basically you can choose which retailer you want to pre-order from, and you can have your pre-order ready for you when the time comes. That's such a departure from what Sony did, where they basically turned pre-ordering into the Hunger Games, and everyone was basically going to every single retailer hoping to get a pre-order. I mean, instead of hoping the odds are ever in your favor, at least Xbox has an organized launch that really helps people prepare for these pre-orders. Oh, and in case you didn't see the tweet, I'll have it in the description, where he also has this picture showing exactly when and where you can pre-order the Xbox Series S and X consoles. This is extremely organized, and I have to tip my hat to Xbox for actually making this something we don't have to stress about. Now, could systems sell out and people miss out on them? Sure, that could happen for a lot of people, but at least we have an idea of when we can put our money down. That to me means so much, because I feel a lot less stress and I know I should be near a computer ready to pre-order at a certain time. But now comes the next response from Xbox, which has to do with cross-play and cross-platform games. Now, I said this in my previous video when I talked about the PS5 showcase event. To jog your memory, I mentioned that Sony really misled a lot of their fans with the way they showed off their current PS5 titles coming. Because while Spider-Man Miles Morales looked amazing and is going to be one of the best DLC games coming out this year, it was still advertised as a game that can only be done on the PS5. Same with Horizon Forbidden West and many other so-called PS5 only games. Sony said they believed in generations and said that they wanted to push the PS5 hardware to its maximum, and that they couldn't do that without leaving the PS4 behind, since its older hardware and the game design might get held back. They talked about taking advantage of the SSD hardware and all these other features in the PS5 that frankly they haven't even gone on a deep dive about. So everyone watching the show expected that most of the games that were being shown off were PS5 exclusive and only possible on the next generation hardware. Well, after the show, Sony started to sing a completely different tune, where they started to announce a lot of those games will be coming to the PS4, which contradicts every single thing they talked about for the last year and a half, not to mention everything they said the last 6 months especially. It was almost jarring to see Sony go back on their words so easily and act like it was nothing. Well, as someone that has no problem with cross-generation games, I found it refreshing but also misleading. Let me explain what I mean. For one, I don't care if someone on PS4 is playing the same game I'm playing on the PS5, and I don't care if someone on the Xbox One is playing the same game I'm playing on the Xbox Series X. It just doesn't matter to me, because I'll be playing the game at the highest fidelity and enjoying the game at its peak performance. I feel that way because Xbox has explained that these games aren't being held back. They also explained that they will support the Xbox One console for the next 2 years after the Series X launches. They've been transparent about everything and honest with their customers. It's a great strategy and something I truly think every gamer should respect. And it's something that Aaron Greenberg mentioned when he went to Twitter responding to a person saying they don't mind cross-gen and they respect Xbox for being upfront about it. Here's what's said. "We may not always get everything right, but as a team we try to be as transparent as possible. You have our commitment to put you, the gamer, first in everything we do." And there you have it. I love this quote because it honestly hit home for Xbox. They have been very transparent with gamers, and they've also told us exactly what their ecosystem is going to look like. They don't mince words, they don't hide and keep information from gamers. Instead, they tell us where we can play all their games and what games will play like on the console or the PC. It's all there in front of you, and no matter what anyone says, that's an awesome behavior, and I love to see that from every single company. Now, of course, he says they are committed at putting gamers first, which from what I've seen is pretty true. Not only do they have Game Pass, which is the best service in gaming, but they've also added so many features to that service, it's almost overwhelming. Throw in Xbox going out and making the most powerful console on the market at the best price, and you can see that Xbox is really doing things gamers should be happy about. Oh, and did I mention that Sony jacked up the price of their exclusive games to $70 on the PS5 and didn't even mention it on the event? Instead, they just put it on their blog and posted it and buried it there so no one can see it and attack it. It's almost like Sony really tried to slip a lot of things right by gamers, and instead of putting it out there in front and center, they tried pulling one over on us. Especially in a day where Xbox Game Pass exists, where we're getting great first-party games from Xbox day and date on Game Pass. Not to mention over 100 other games and a lot of AAA games on the same service. Man, it makes Sony look even worse when you truly look at the big picture. Which brings me to the end of my little rant, because I do want to close this out by saying I have a weird feeling with Sony this coming generation. Do I think they'll bring out some amazing games that I'll love to play? Of course, they've done that the last several years, and I can't deny the high quality exclusive games they bring out. Will the PS5 be powerful and have all the cool features that helps developers make games? I sure hope so, but I can't be sure because Sony hasn't talked about the system all that much and really only focused on the SSD. But overall, I have to say I am going to buy a PS5 and I hope they really start being more honest with gamers, because right now this reminds me of the PS3 launch where Sony got confident and forgot what made them have such a massive success. It reminds me of the Xbox One launch, where Xbox got confident and didn't put gamers first and instead put business first. It's like Sony didn't learn from past mistakes and are trying to repeat them or something. All the while, Xbox has these fresh wounds from this generation and still trying to make it right to gamers, so they can earn our trust back. Well, all I can say is Xbox, keep doing what you're doing, because so far it's working, and the only thing you need to do is make great first-party games that are high quality. And people will start to notice the Xbox brand even more, especially with Sony having such a huge misstep. Let's hope these responses by Xbox come true, because so far they're saying and doing all the right things gamers want to hear. Well, at least that's what I think. But what do you think about all of this? Are you happy with the response Xbox had to this? Were you able to pre-order a PS5? Are you mad at Sony for their dishonesty? What console do you want more? Did you like the PS5 showcase? What launch titles does PS5 actually have now coming to PS5 exclusively? Are you annoyed with cross-generation games? Are you going to pre-order an Xbox Series X console? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamertag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing and let's compete in achievements for the month. Right now, I'm playing Marvel's Avengers. I'm about to jump into Sea of Thieves because they had a bunch of new updates, and me and my buddies are going to be playing that probably all weekend, because when they bring out new updates for Sea of Thieves, I always hop back in and go crazy. I put hours upon hours in that game over the weekends. I love that game. But tell me what you're playing. Are you working through your backlog? Are you playing Marvel's Avengers? Or are you working on some other games? Go down below and let me know. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.